So anyway, we are Scott Groves, Consolidated Coaching. We're doing Commit to Getting Leads, Success in 5 minutes a day. Thank you. There is a bigger and bigger group coming on the weekends, which means some of you are committed to doing some type of lead generation over the weekend, whether you're stopping in open houses, calling a couple realtors back, doing some Facebook messages while you're catching up on your TV. The other night I binge watched about 3 hours of Walking Dead. And while I was doing that, I was working through my database, identifying people that I hadn't contacted in a while, shooting Facebook messages to realtors who I hadn't been in touch with for a while. So, you can multitask if you're doing mindless stuff in the background. But today we are going to be on day 26 of lead generation. You should have this book, Karen Briscoe. If you don't, you should probably buy it and or wait till mine comes out, then you can buy mine. But let's go. Quantity versus quality. Quantity versus quality is an age-old question. The debate is often heard in the platform of regarding raising children. Which matters more, the amount of time spent with the child or the depth of the interaction? Truly, I believe both are important, and it applies to the real estate profession as well on several fronts. In regards to experience, there is a school of thought that the number of years in the business is a good barometer to determine the quality of the agent. Agree and disagree. The best in real estate achieve that distinction by quantity of time. Other frequent standards of calculating success are based on number of transactions and the amount of dollar volume sold annually. And then how many years the agent, team, and the company have sustained those levels of achievement. The logic follows that whoever has the most business is the one who is the most qualified. Past performance is the best indicator of future success, similar to our credit score. On the other side of the equation is the agent new in the business who does not have the quantity of experience in the industry to bring to the table. Yet many new agents succeed through their drive, hard work, and creativity, or using knowledge that's relevant to a more modern market. Unlike those who have been around a while, these agents often see new solutions and bring forth ideas that disturb the status quo in a positive way. In lead generation, the quantity of activity can lead to quality. When a professional has an abundance of opportunity, the agent has more choices. Same with the loan officers. Options include prioritizing the leads, referring out business for a fee, and leveraging with other agents, team members, and staff. It often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that the more leads one has, the more leads one gets. The quality frequently increases with the quantity. The client too has needs, both for quantity and quality of time. Frequently, customers ask how many listings an agent currently carries or how many buyers the agent is working with. The reason I have discovered for these questions is they feel deep down that at a certain number, agents won't have the time to devote attention to them. And yet you have surely heard the Ben Franklin adage, if you want something done, ask a busy person. With systems and standards of service, quality can be achieved with quantity. Thus, we come full circle to the original statement. Both quantity and quality are necessary for successful real estate agents and loan officers. I want to unpack this just a little bit because I think it's really relevant to our industry for a few reasons. Let me grab a highlighter real quick. I see it in our office. I see it with myself. I see it with loan officers who are successful and who are not successful. And my buddy Cole coined this term, build a buyer, right? And he was having a hard time where a lot of the leads that he got the first couple of years of his career were the not so great leads, low credit scores, trying to talk a cosigner into coming on board with the deal, trying to get them to file a year's worth of back taxes, things of this nature. And, we have to decide how much time does our system, our business, our team, our energy, our knowledge allow us to focus on those build buyers. A lot of times we are going to get more business from the leads that we say no to versus the ones that we say yes to. And I know that's very, very hard if you're in the early part of your career and you're trying to go for quantity over quality. You're like, hey, give me your poor, sick, tired, hungry, just get them in the door and I'll figure them out. yes, that's a good strategy to get people in the door, but you have to figure out whether or not they're worthy of your time or not, because you can get a lot of quantity of leads, but not have a quality of leads. So that's one talking point I wanted to go over, is this kind of build a buyer concept, and what portion of your database, of your incoming leads, of your clients are taking up your time, and are they turning into business? So that's kind of talking point number one, is this build a buyer thought on the quantity versus quality. The next thing I want to talk about is quality versus quantity of relationships with the realtors. I think you've heard me talk about this before on coaching calls and in this lead generation. My business partner, Justin, has much, much better quality relationships with about a dozen realtors who give him 100 transactions a year. I have more of a quantity business where I've got an okay-ish relationship or a good track record with 40 agents who give me 2 or 3 or 4 deals a year, or 50 agents who give me 1 deal a year. And there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer, but I have to tell you, as I go more and more into management, coaching, leadership, running special events, I'm starting to realize, like, man, I really got to pare down who I'm working with and guard my time. So I've been handing off a lot of those quantity relationships, a lot of the quantity relationships to other loan officers that work here in our office, and just coming up with some type of commission split with them, while I go deeper and deeper and deeper with the quality agents. So hand off the quality when you get there. Sorry. Tongue twister, hand off the quantity when you get to a certain point in your career and focus on the quality. One of the things I committed to doing with you guys is 20 lead gen calls a day. I did 2 yesterday, but those 2 lead gen calls were with one of my top realtors and her right-hand gal. We did 6 hours at the Langham Hotel yesterday in Pasadena, talking about strategy. How do we get the other mentees and buyers agents on our team to only use me? How do we build out the checklist to make sure that every time they're interacting with a new client, I get deeply embedded into that process? So didn't make anywhere near the 20 calls I'm committed to you guys for making yesterday, but I spent 6 hours with 2 people that can generate 20, 30, 40 deals a month for me, 20, 30, 40 deals a year for me in 2018. And she's on the Leadership Advisory Council at KW. So she'll be talking about me as a good backup option to their in-house lender. And she's at a point in her career where she's like, I'm kind of tired of the daily grind. It's great that I can make $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year by focusing on my 20 or 25 high-end transactions. But what if I could find a way to do that and then scale other buyers agents, scale other mentees? So she's starting to think about, okay, how do I take on 2, 3, 4, 5 new agents? And how does Scott Groves get all that business? So that was just perfect yesterday, an idea of going quantity, or an idea of going quality. And today, actually this morning, the reason I'm in the office at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning is because at 9 a.m. I'm going to go quantity and follow up with the 10 or 15 people yesterday who came across my desk by email, text message, Facebook, or whatnot. So yesterday was quality, today was quantity. So that was kind of point number 2 with the realtors. And then point number 3 is this idea of like owning where you're at in your career. I'm just scrolling down, and unfortunately a lot of you are calling in today, so I don't know who's on the call, but as I'm scrolling down the attendee list right now, we've got one gal I know for sure has been doing this for 25 plus years. And we've got another young man who's on the call who's been doing this for less than 1 year. So wherever you're at in your career, own that with your leads and own that with your referral sources. And if you're an old dog like me and you're coming up on 20 years in the business, let them know that, hey, I might not be the most responsive, I might not be the most warm and fuzzy, but there is a value add in that 20 years of experience. There is a value add in the fact that I have seen more tax returns and transactions in the last 19 years than most people will see in their entire career. There's a value to that. However, if you're newer in the business and you're hungry and you're good at social media and frankly, you don't have as many referral relationships and deals, you need to be selling the fact that like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Lead Source, when you call a realtor, yeah, I might not have the same amount of experience as Scott Groves, the person that you're working with currently, but I'll tell you what, I'll call back your clients faster. The reality is all of the guidelines that we're looking to implement in a loan process are easily searchable on Google. And I'm hungrier, faster, younger, fitter, better with the clients, quicker to follow up, whatever the case it is. So wherever you're at in your career, as you're going through this lead generation and you're calling realtors and you're calling clients, play to your strengths. Just own where you're at in the process and follow up on those strengths. So that's all I got for you today. Sorry we went a couple of minutes over our 10-minute limit, but I thought it was good stuff. It's Saturday morning, and if you need to get fired up, just YouTube Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. It is impossible to listen to that song and not get fired up. I'll stick around for about 30 seconds or a minute to engage any questions you guys have. But again, Scott Groves, Consolidated Coaching, 5 minutes of success, and we will talk to you tomorrow, Sunday morning. Yes, I will be on tomorrow, Sunday morning at 8 a.m., and we'll talk soon. If you have any questions, let me know. Stick on. All right. Hey, Chris, can you hear me? Oh, there you are, man. What's up? You are muted. Let me see. You might be able to mute yourself. I might have to unmute you. There we go. You're muted. How's it going, Chris?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, you and I were texting this morning. I was just checking to make sure you're able to get into all the coaching material. You said something specific. Do you have a standard script for a phone call realtor outline? You know,
yes.
It's interesting. I'm going back and redoing a bunch of these scripts based on where to go. I always have it here. Based on this book, which you're newer to the coaching program, but you hear me talk about this at least once a week.
I have.
You have. Okay, cool. So never split the difference. I would buy it on Audible today and start listening to it because it's excellent.
Okay.
And then probably buy the hardcover and script it out.
Okay.
You know, Chris Voss is really good where he's relating his hostage negotiation skills over to the business world is he says, you know, if you're selling or telling, you're losing.
Right.
And he said it's the same when you're negotiating with a hostage taker, and it's the same when you're negotiating business. If you're selling or telling, you're losing. So he was talking about reworking the script of, you know, calling and just saying, you know, isn't it crazy that you and I work in the same market, or we're Facebook friends, or whatever, and we've never actually spoken or been introduced? I just want to call and let you know I'm a lender in the area. Just wanted to say hi. Yeah. And that's kind of diffusing. And
it is.
Say hi or something and just say, you know, he loves going like super crazy. He just I don't know what the word is. Hyperbolic or something. You know, he'll just start with like right to the punch. He'll be like, hey, would it be crazy to think that you and I could get together for coffee and just learn a little bit more about each other's business? Right. Like, well, I guess that's not crazy. Like, but if you go for the, you know, the if this then that close, hey, are you available Thursday or Tuesday to have coffee? Right. Fuck you. I don't want to have coffee.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yep.
But so, so his whole thing is just like the introductory call, the we're in the neighborhood, the I work with somebody in your office. I just wanted you to know who I am, see my face, hear my voice, whatever.
And that's kind of how I've been handling it. You know, that's how I've just been very, very, you know, because I come from a sales background too of different, you know, different widgets and gadgets. So I never go into a sales with, hey, let me show you what I have. I'm always like, hey, tell me what you have. Tell me how you're successful. You know, how'd you become a top agent with RE/MAX? That's amazing. And, you know, realtors love to talk about themselves.
Yeah, true statement.
Like, oh, really? Well, I've been in it for 25 years, and I was a housewife, and then, you know, and I was like, you know, that's kind of, you know, the mod. But I didn't know if you had like a basis. But that's good to hear that it's more along those lines.
Yeah, and I think the key is, like all of this, right, is the fortune is in the follow-up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send you, well, I've got you on the line. Hold one. Let me just put a reminder here to email this to you, or I'm totally going to forget. I'm going to email you the in-person realtor meeting kind of system follow-up, things of that nature, because I think what all of us do, and I'm probably the biggest offender of this when I get into the mode of going for quantity, not quality, is all call everybody, all connect with everybody, blah, 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 blah. And then I won't calendar reminder for myself the follow-up activities.
Right.
Great. So I had one decent to above average conversation with them and then never got back in touch with them. And that's just pathetic. So I think a lot of it is in the follow-up, and I'll send that over to you.
Okay, cool,
man. I just want to hit that up and bring you on and say hi, because we had not.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I'm excited, dude. I definitely already see a ton of value add with everything I'm reading, and just it's kind of knocking some cobwebs out of my head, because like I said, I was in it for years. I got out of it. I took a job in Florida. It was a refinance shop, like you were talking about on one of your videos or earlier, and it just I wasn't learning anything. Calling on refis, any Tom, Dick, or Harry can do that. I wasn't back in the purchase money market, meeting realtors. Then I got back out of it for a year. So I'm still, it's like almost relearning the wheel again, a year out, a year in, a year out, so it's a little daunting, but nonetheless, I'll get it.
Cool. And I got your email here as cmcmurray@usmtg, right?
That is correct.
All right, cool. I just sent it right now, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock, man.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you, Scott.